Yasmin Shavira here, Better Lesson Master Teacher, and I wanted to share a reflection on the importance of getting to know your class, pre-tests, and conversations with both your students and their prior teachers. So this one comes along with a very short story, I promise. I was sitting in my room one day at a lunch period with a student who required more tutoring. He said he wanted to be challenged some more. So I allowed him to go to my bookshelf and take a look at some of my textbooks. And he came across some problems just like these, evaluating algebraic expressions through substitution. At the time, I was in my second unit, so that meant we had practiced rational number operations with positives only, and we had been introduced to integers. We were toward the end of that unit. We had not yet introduced algebraic topics. So he asked me, Ms. Shavira, why aren't we doing problems like this? And I explained, well, we're still on the integers. I'm not sure if you guys can handle those yet. I'm waiting to introduce the algebra unit. And he said, but we know how to do this. And I asked him to be specific. I'm like, well, how do you know everybody knows how to do those? Maybe it's just you. He said, no. I'm pretty sure most of my class knows how to do this. We used to do them with Mr. Nieder at the end of the year a lot. Mr. Nieder is their 6th grade math teacher who did an awesome job, because when I went to speak to him, he explained to me that yes, the students had actually loved these problems. They saw them as a sort of a puzzle, and they had gotten pretty good at them. So I found that information very useful and decided to use a pretest when I introduced this particular lesson on evaluating expressions. I found out through this pretest that's on the screen right now that I actually didn't have much introducing to do. The advantage of the pretest, especially when it's done in clickers, which I did with this pretest, was that it allowed me to see that students already had a pretty strong grasp, for the most part, of how to substitute. And it allowed me to see the specific parts that I would need to make sure I included support and modeling for. For example, while they were really good at substituting in questions like numbers 2 and 3, when it came to questions like number 1 and 4, and there was an absolute value involved, or there was a substitution into an absolute value of a positive number, this is when I found students would struggle. Equally so, on number 6, for example, when the variable was placed right in the center of a fraction, they found it difficult to interpret where is the variable. Is it given to the 14 or the 9? So this information was useful for me at the beginning because it allowed me to see what they were able to do, what they were not able to do. It's definitely a time saver. We didn't have to spend an entire class introducing this topic because they were already properly introduced to it. I spent time with absolute value, interpreting it. And I also included some, if you see here, solving equations one step, just to see where they were with that. I remembered that my students last year had struggled with these particular type of equations. So I threw these on there just to see how much they knew. The motivation was really internal for most of the students in this lesson. They wanted to show me how much they knew. So it brings to light the importance of getting to know your students at the beginning of the year, not assuming that they're going to always be exactly the same every year, and having those conversations with their prior teachers. So I hope that's helpful, and I'm including this document onto my reflection as well. Thank you.